When they take up the internal work by the firm itself, the transaction cost will reduce. When you have a proper structure and policies in the organization, the stakeholders will engage automatically. What is the thing that they are doing for the environment as well as social well-being? What they are doing, what improvement that the organization is doing with respect to that. So that measures your environmental, social and governance factors. Hello everybody, I'm your Divya ma'am, Assistant Professor from Department of Commerce and Management, lecturing Vidhyaashram First Grade College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. It's my warm welcome to you all for the session 2 on your chapter Unit 5, Ethical and Governance Issues in Financial Management. Moving forward, for today's discussion, transaction cost theory, governance, structure and policy, social and environmental issues, purpose and content of an integrated report. So in the last class, we have discussed about what is ethics is all about with the daily life examples. We have discussed what is governance, what are the ethical issues that is faced in our financial management, what is agency relationship theory, everything we have discussed in the last class. So let's discuss transaction cost theory in today's class without wasting much of our time. So, transaction cost theory. So, the transaction cost theory is a part of corporate governance and agency relationship theory. It's a part of that is transaction theory. So, transaction theory is based on a principle that so the cost will incur when a person gets some other person to do his job. For example, a person owns a company, so he gets a director to run his own company. So here transaction cost will occur. So you outsource the work from the different places. So transaction cost occurs. So this transaction cost theory states that the organization should make sure that should have such a governance control over their cost that they reduce the cost that is incurring, because while taking up the decision, they doesn't only look after the market price, but they have to look after the cost that will incur. What are the different costs that will incur? There will be suppliers cost. So to take up the bring the governance, to make the implication of rules and regulations, so they need lot of cost. So to transact from one person to another person, you need the company incurs cost. So what this transaction cost theory says is, so it is very important for a firm to control over the cost by doing internal transactions. So when they do the internal transactions, when they take up the internal work by the firm itself, the transaction cost will reduce. So transaction cost will occur when a person doing a job, instead of doing a job, he appoints the other person to do that particular job. So at that time transaction cost occurs. So instead of doing the job, they outsource the work, they outsource the labors. So transaction cost occurs. So it is an expenses for an organization, for a firm. So it is very important to the organization to take up the decision regarding the cost, because it affects the quality as well as the price of a particular product. It also affects the profit of the firm. So that is what your transaction cost theory says. So let us look into that. Transaction cost theory provides insights into how firm make decision based on minimizing transaction costs. As I have told you, so in order to take up the sound decision, they have to look after the cost that will incur for a firm. So it is important to minimize the cost. So they have to have a control over the cost. So how they can have a control over the cost? When they have the internal working mechanism. So if they work for themselves, so the organization, the firm can reduce the cost. For example, a beer manufacturing company, so if they own their own warehousing outlet and the a retailing outlet, so they can reduce the cost of supply, they can reduce the cost of a retailer. So in this way they can reduce the transaction cost. So it is very important to maintain or minimize the transaction cost. Moving forward, both concepts have ethical and governance implication. So it is very ethical, because if the organization do its work internally, the cost will reduce, but at the same time the supplier's opportunity for selling the goods, for supplying the goods will reduce. So it has a ethical impact on suppliers. Moving forward, what the definition of transaction cost theory says: transaction cost theory developed by Oliver E. Williamson focuses on how firms make decision regarding whether to conduct transaction in-house, that as I have told you, internally they do the transaction, or external to the market. So what it decides, transaction cost theory is based on principle, as I have told you. So on what principle? So that a work of one person will be appointed or taken by the other person, so it incurs cost. So here they have to decide. Transaction cost theory focuses on the decision regarding whether the organization has to conduct the transaction internally or in-house or external to the market. Moving forward, it suggests that what transaction cost theory suggests, that firm seeks to minimize transaction cost, including search, negotiation, monitoring cost. So what this theory says is, the firm has to minimize the transaction cost. So they have to minimize the search, they should minimize the negotiation that they do with the other firms, and the monitoring cost. So if they reduce the cost, the risk will be minimized. So when the risk is minimized, obviously the profit will be more to the organization. At the same time, the quality can be maintained by the firm. So the risk and the quality can be properly maintained by the firm. So that is what your transaction cost theory explains you all about. Moving forward, governance, structures and policies. So as I have told you, governance is nothing but it is an act or a process of enforcing the policies, rules and regulations, so that the top level executive have developed the vision, mission and objective. So that vision and mission objective has to be achieved through lower level employees as well as middle level employees. So that executive work will be done through proper governance, through proper rules and regulations. So how they can have that rules and regulation? So what they have to do? They have to formulate a proper structure. What is that structure? It is nothing but an hierarchy, the levels of organization, so that if all the responsibility, authority as well as the powers, responsibility, accountability as well as the authority flows properly, and the objectives will be achieved towards the achievement of organizational goals. So first thing is corporate structure. What they have to do? They have to develop a proper corporate structure. The way a company is organized, as I have told you, organized is nothing but putting things in an order. So as it is organized, including its hierarchy, departments, reporting lines, impacts is governance structure. Once you have a proper governance structure, there will be ethical act that will be happening, because there will be no bias among the employees. Employees will be provided with the right job at the right time with right responsibility, so that their work will be they can work more efficiently and effectively. So corporate structure is very essential. The second thing is governance policies. So what they have to do? Companies should establish governance policies, the rules and regulations that outline their ethical principles. So when the firm is developing a rules and regulations, They have to develop in such a way that it has to follow the ethical principle, decision making process and the code of conduct for employees and management. So when you're taking up the decision, rules and regulations, that has to be ethically followed. The principles what they adopt, the rules and regulations they adopt, it has to be in favor of employees and management. Moving forward, compliances and regulation. So what do you all mean by compliance? Is nothing but obeying to law, following to law. So rules and regulations. Compliance with local and international law and regulation is essential. So what they are telling? Local and international laws. They have to follow the laws that has been local and international, because nowadays we are not trading towards our domestic boundaries. We are beyond that, we are trading globally. So it is very important for us to follow the rules and regulation, the law of international as well as our domestic rules and regulations. So when you are following, the organization should follow both local law as well as the international law. So compliances should have policies in place to ensure adherence. So they should obey the rules and regulation. They should follow the act accordingly. Moving forward, the fourth, that is governance structure and the policy that they have to consider is risk management. Effective governance include risk assessment. So when you have a proper governance, when you are following it through various rules and regulation, the risk assessment analysis can be done. So what is the risk, what kind of risk that can be faced by a company in a future, so that can be assessed, and the management strategy to mitigate the harm that is happening to the company and its shareholders. So when you are taking up the governance, when you are using the structure and the policies, so with the help of that, the risk management can be done. So how the risk management can be done, what kind of effects that you will be having, what is the strategy, what is the effect that is there on the firm. So all those things is known to the management. So it is very important to have a good governance, good policies and principles. So in order to bring ethical values in it, at the same time the organizational goals are achieved in an ethical way. Moving forward, stakeholders engagement. So when you have a good governance, when you have a proper structure and policies in the organization, the stakeholders will engage automatically. Who are the stakeholders for whom we call it as stakeholders? Shareholders, suppliers, employees. So we will be having a good contact, good coordination and communication with the employees when you have a proper structure. So in your college, if you take up an example, if you are having a structure, for example, you at the top administrative officer will be there, later your principal will be there, after principal HODs, and after teachers, and late the students will come, later the students will come. So if the students has to coordinate, they have to coordinate to the teacher will coordinate to the HOD will coordinate to the principal, and the principal will coordinate to the administrative officer. So what is this? It's a hierarchical structure which is formulated because the work is divided among all the employees. So ethics is there, and the roles and responsibilities is all automatically, when the power is given to them, they are responsible towards their work. When they are responsible, they need to be answerable to the top level executive. Communication is flow easy, and the organization can take a better decision. So you can take a better decision with respect to your education. Similar way, here also in every organization, proper governance structure and policies are essential. So if you have that proper governance and structure, there will be a coordination, there will be engagement between all the employees, shareholders, community, and the people around the organization. So there will be an engagement. So this is what the governance structure and policies, why it is important for you people. If you have a proper governance, there will be proper coordination. When you have a proper coordination, the organization will work more efficiently. Automatically the organizational objectives can be achieved. Moving forward, social and environmental issues. So what are the issues that we have? So as I have told you in the previous class, we are taking lot of things from the society. At the same time, it is our responsibility to give it back. So there will be lot of environmental and social issues that in present scenario people are facing through various industries. That might be the pollution, that might be emission, what they are giving to the environment. There might be an oxygen problem. So if you see Delhi cases, all these are happening. So why it is happening? Because of the industry, because of infrastructure development, because of different the technology that is coming up. At the same time, we need to protect our environment, keeping in our mind the sustainability concept. We have millennium sustainability concept, sustainability goals. So why it is there? Because it is very important today what we are using. At the same time, we need to protect it for our next generation. So if we don't do that, our end will be known to us. So it is very important to keep in mind the concept of sustainability. So without compromising the present generation, you need to keep it for the future generation also. So there is a concept called environmental and social issues. So let us discuss one by one what are the social and environmental issues that it is there in our society. So how can we mitigate that? Moving forward, first is social responsibility. So as a company, as I have told you, since every company should follow the corporate social responsibility, so it is their duty to do something for the society. So nowadays what the companies are doing, so they train the employees, they train the students. So they go for a college, then they pick up few of the students community, they train the students community as a part of CSR activity, and then they recruit them to the different top companies. So it is a part of CSR that they are doing it. So social responsibility, company should consider their impact on society, what impact that it has. So including issues such as diversity, labor practice, all this shouldn't be done. Bonded labor, all this, the contract what they make with the employees, so that if you stay with us for 1.5 year agreement, we will recruit you. So all these are what is, it is very harmful for the societies. So if they doesn't like the job, it will affect their mental health. So human rights and community involvement, so all these things, all these issues that we are seeing in nowadays. Moving forward, the second, environmental sustainability. So sustainability, we have to talk about sustainability. Environment, we have to protect it, is very important for us. So environmental issues involve minimizing the company's ecological footprints, reducing the pollution. So what they are doing, they are polluting, the industries emit the gases, that has to reduce. So they have to locate their industries outside, outskirts of the particular residential area, because it should not harm anybody who are residing in that particular place. So reducing population, conserving resources, and adopt sustainability practice. So my dear students, so every year industrial visit will happen for this purpose only, to note that what are the sustainability activities they are using. So if you go for a conference, they say we doesn't use plastic, so they don't use plastic water bottle, instead they keep a glass, in that they pour a water and they drink. So what it shows the environmental sustainability practice. So near their industrial area, they plant lot of trees in the particular industry location. So in order to provide the good ambience for the employees as well as the home for many birds and animals. So why they do this? Because of the sustainability practice. So moving forward, next is supply chain ethics. So ethics should be there not only with respect to employees, but with respect to suppliers as well. So it is very important to look after the supply chain, ensuring fair treatment of suppliers and the responsible sourcing. So they should have an ethical behavior towards the suppliers as well, because they are very important. If suppliers are not there, we cannot outsource the goods, we cannot outsource the services. Moving forward, climate change. Companies should address climate change through mitigating. So while mitigating, you cannot eradicate, you can reduce it, you cannot completely take off that, but they can do efforts. The firm can do little efforts in order to reduce the pollution, emitting the gases. They can avoid those things and adopting the proper sustainability practice in their firm, so which prepares climate related risk. So this kind of issues, what is there, that they have to minimize. So it is very important for your examination as well. Moving forward, the purpose and content of an integrated report. So what is this integrated report? It is nothing but combined report. What is this? Combined. What it's combined? It explains the ESG. What does this ESG stands for? Environmental, social and that is your governance factor. So what this measure? It measures the what is the thing that they are doing for the environment as well as social well-being. What they are doing, what improvement that the organization is doing with respect to that. So that measures your environmental, social and governance factor. So that report along with the financial information together will become your integrated report. So what is the purpose and content of an integrated report? So integrated combined report, so it expresses what? Environmental, social and the governance factor, along with that the financial information, together they combine and shows the firm's performance. So that is your integrated report. So what is the purpose? The first is integrated reporting framework. Integrated reporting provides a comprehensive view of a company's performance. It shows a standard performance of a company. So what it shows? It shows a clear picture about the financial results. It not only doesn't show the financial results, but at the same time it also explains the social and environmental governance impact. So what is the measure that they are doing for our environment? What is the change that they are bringing to our environment? Next, moving forward, stakeholder communication. So this report acts as a communicator for the stakeholders. So the primary purpose of integrated reporting is to communicate a company's value creation story to the wide range of stakeholders. So to express what is happening in the organization, what corporate social responsibility they are doing, what is the sustainability practice that they are following. So all this, to showcase that, we need a report, and that is an integrated report to communicate with the stakeholders. Moving forward, the next point is components of an integrated report. So integrated report typically include the information of strategy. So we have 3 levels. So what are the 3 levels? Corporate level, business level and functional level. Top level executives such as CEO, your CFO, your board of directors. So all this top level executive people belong to corporate level. So they develop the strategy. What kind of strategy? They use amalgamation, they use mergers, they use turnaround strategy, they use different integration strategy. So all these are the strategies they develop in order to achieve the vision, mission and objective of the organization. And when it comes to business level, it belongs to the people of the manager class. So they are the different managers. And the last, operational level or functional level, so they are the lower level employees or the executives which are working for our organization. So whatever the development we can see, whatever the strategies that they have developed, so by the corporate level, business level, that will be achieved through operational level. So they are the they take up marketing strategy, financial strategy, research and development strategy. So different types of strategies we have. What strategy they use? So it explains what, it gives information what kind of strategy they are using in the organization. For example, Tata Nano cars were there. So it was, the car were available for 1.5 lakhs or 2 lakhs in the initial days. Later, there was a problem in the engine. So what they do, they took back the products from the market and then they relaunched the car. That is turnaround strategy. So that kind of strategy they used in order to make sure the sale of a particular car go high. So this is your strategy. What kind of strategies they are using in a company, that information you will get through this report. Governance, what kind of governance rules and regulations the organization is following. What is the performance, what risk the company has, what is the opportunity that they have in the future upcoming days, what is the financial thing that is happening, what is the financial performance, what is their balance sheet. That information will be provided. And the last, it explains the environmental and social governance matrices as well. So this is the information that you get through this report. Moving forward, the fourth purpose of this integrated report is linking financial and non-financial information. So you will get to know the importance of financial as well as non-financial information as well. So financial information are nothing but your leverage, your financial risk, different risks that we have, working capital management. Non-financial information are nothing but your management, your governance, rules and regulation, policies. So all those are non-financial information. So integrated reports show how a non-financial information and financial information aspects are interconnected. So how it is interconnected, how it works, and what is the impact of an organization for the long-term success. Moving forward, assurance and verification. So this provides an assurance and verification for the third party in the organization, since it provides credibility and transparency towards their report. Moving forward, we have continuous improvement. So for our organizational improvement, integrated reports are very essential. So integrated reporting is not a one-time effort, but a process that encourages companies to continuously assess their performance, continuously know and improve their environmental, social and governance performance. So it is not for one time. So this reports enable the company to know where they stand and what parameter they stand, how they can improve their performance towards the environmental and solving the social issues. So thank you so much for joining today's class. I hope the session was very interesting and fruitful. Smile is the biggest jewel you can wear. Keep smiling, people. Thank you.